Thanks for staying with us. So, this segment, we're going to be discussing a topic related to women, empowerment, expression, and thoughts, especially in light of all that's been happening. So, in light of the alleged sexual harassment scandal that has characterized the Nigerian Senate in the last few weeks, we want to discuss the plight of Nigerian women as regards to leadership, public conduct, and most especially their perceptions and dealings with interaction with the male counterparts. Joining us to shed more light and help us thoroughly understand how women relate, especially in this 21st century, how we relate with men. Discussing this is the clergyman, life coach, leadership expert, Mr. or Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Welcome to the show. Today you're not here to sell market, you're here to come and gist with us. Because we want to...
Happy birthday, BC, happy birthday.
Because we want to tap into a bit of your knowledge, you know, because there's a lot that's been happening. And later on we'll discuss finance for women, because that's also important. It's International Women's Month, and it's important for us to touch on that. But first, a lot has happened. And I think on your view, we have kind of carefully not really talked much about it, because there's a lot to unpack. You know, the outburst out there. Even recently, or 2 days ago, Dr. Obiasikwesili was lashed out by this senator. I mean, she had told him to shut up, but then he went overboard in his response to her. So there's so much going on out there. Women are saying, can we really, is there a proper conduct for women out there? Or can men understand that things are different? We will confront you, and we expect you to talk to us as an equal counterpart, not as the lower vessel or the weaker vessel. True. Things are changing. Please help us shed a bit of light.
Ooh, it is well. Well, thanks for having me again. And let me say a few things just as a foundation. Number one, we all generalize consciously or unconsciously in different aspects. So whatever is being said, let us acknowledge the fact that there are exceptions to them, so that while we're discussing, we know that there are some exceptions, so that we will not be taking to say, oh, he said this, she said that. There are exceptions. Number two, we also need to realize that there are people that are not at the level of exposure and enlightenment that we are in. So while you are on TV, you're on radio, you read the news, you're on social media, there are people that have no clue. All these things you are trying to get that are okay with it, they are satisfied. And when you are trying to say you want, they're like, what is your problem? Are you not okay with the way things are? So we also need to acknowledge that there are people like that, so that we know that no matter what we say, no matter what we push out there, there will always be people that don't agree with that. That being said, we need to understand that we live in a patriarchal society. And for many people that are presently adults, they didn't know better. We're all brought up seeing the society through the lenses of our upbringing, our backgrounds, and our experiences. And then it takes you to now be conscious and aware of the fact that this is not okay, for you to now begin to make adjustments. Because as a man, when we're being brought up, there were things that we were trained with and told that we believe was okay, because that's what we saw. But it is now growing up and realize that, this is not okay. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't look right. For some of us to now begin to say, I'm going to make adjustment. I'm going to change. And that's the reality we need to face. So when it comes to women, a lot of us grew up in families where our fathers were African men. I'm in charge, I'm in control. And they make us, even in the church, in our upbringing, they make us believe that this is your brother cannot enter the kitchen, you go and cook for your brother, you make sure you have money to take care of your woman. So all those things affect us. So by the time we now grow up, it takes conscious and intentional readjustment for us to be able to now get to a point where you are talking, a woman is talking. If you grow up believing that a woman is less than you, it will be difficult for you to say a woman talk and you're like, excuse me, why are you talking? Because there are things that men will do that will be okay. But once a woman does it, it becomes a problem. Just because of the software running the men.
Software.
And that's we just need to all,
what happened between Obiasikwesili and the senator?
Oh boy. Boy.
She's, I think, from the look of it, he's at most 50-something. She's a 70-year-old grandmother. So I think she told him, from the story I heard, she said the chairman was talking, and he was talking. So she said, shut up. Because they had told her to keep quiet, but he continued to talk. So she now said, you shut up. Now he now turned on her and unleashed venom. Venom. She's a woman. An older woman, a much older woman. But he went on her as if they were age mates. In fact, that she was his subordinate because she was a woman or because he was disrespectful. Because even if they didn't teach you at home, society will teach you that there are some things you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
What would you say in that kind of situation?
Okay, so if we look at that situation, I've had to listen to both of them because of that. To say,
I've listened to both of them.
What happened? Because Obi is my sister. She's a fellow pastor, so we're ministers. So I'm like, this is not the person we know. What's happening here? So I had to go and check, and I listened to her version, not so she said it by herself. And when I saw what she said, I'm like, okay, now I understand why this is happening, because she told the guy, please shut up, because we have told not to speak, that there's something prejudicial. So please shut up. So when you say that, listen and listen well, not every woman will say that. The only reason why Obi could tell him to shut up was because of her level of exposure, her level of self-awareness. A normal woman will not tell a man to shut up. So that's understanding. And the man is like, hello, he's like that African man.
Boom.
He's like, you wake up. So at that point, the animalistic behavior came out. So it's not about your age or whatever. Because look, we've seen even men, these people are fought, carrying chairs, carrying everything. Sometimes we put people on a pedestal they are not qualified for. Just because somebody is in a house and they claim to have been elected does not mean that they are normal people. Does not mean they are okay. Many of these guys have mental health issues. Many of these people have traumas. They have issues that it now comes out when they are triggered. And that's what we saw there. So, and like I've always said, 2 wrongs does not make a right. So whether she was right to have said shut up or not, I was not there. I don't know the atmosphere, but she said she told him to shut up.
There was a language he used.
She did. I watched her too.
He used the language of, I'm a senator and you are not, and you cannot, that's why you are not. And we've seen this trajectory of constituted authority from Oyo when the students had this clash at the time. When you are an elected office holder, does it give you some form of superiority over society such that your office must first be recognized? Now, in this case in question, they were both witnesses to the opposing side. He was a witness for Natasha. He was a witness for the Senate president. And at this point, does their office or whatever office is does it owe them?
It's perception. I listened to him and he's saying that I am a senator. She's not. So she should respect my office. And that's part of the problem.
But his office was not.
You are not there. You are there as witness. So you see, that's why we talk about understanding leadership. In this part of the world, we don't understand leadership, we understand rulership. Because we have traditional rulers, political rulers. You see, when you see yourself as a leader, only based on the fact that you hold a position, that is the lowest elementary level of leadership. And that's what he is trying to know, that look, I am in a position, you should respect the position, but there should be a respectable person in the position to give the honor of the position. So if you have a position, it's like saying, okay, let's make a madman a king. We respect the throne, but the madman is sitting on the throne. So we are confused. So do we submit to the throne or submit to madness, and then we all end up in trouble? And that's the situation we see in our country today, where a lot of negative things are happening, and it's sad. But what I believe that we need to do is to understand that we are all going through an evolution, and we are learning every day. And when we realize that we are not right or we are not adequate, we work on ourselves to become better in different aspects.
So let's talk about the role of culture here, right? Because we're brought up to believe that elders cannot make a mistake. And unfortunately, we carried it into rulership and leadership. Looking at that scenario, you would think that because she was elderly, he should have ignored the shut up because she was elderly, right? The right thing to do was to maybe afterwards just say, the way you told me to shut up, I didn't like it, because she was elderly. But now, we now have a place where culture and patriarchy and ego clashed. Because in his mind, and probably from where he's coming from, there are people that believe that women are inferior, no matter the age. So when she used the fact that I am older to say, brother, please keep quiet, let's hear what is happening. He now used that I am the man here to say, how dare you answer me?
A red cap chief.
I'm telling you. So how do you solve this sort of issues where everybody's coming from their own understanding, everybody's coming from their own beliefs, everybody's coming from their own culture, and we are meeting in a workplace? Nigerians find it difficult to separate culture, ego, religion in a workplace.
That's a very important question. For your answer, I remember that Mr. Foladiola, the GT Bank, when he was in Dubai, he was saying something that when he started GT Bank, they had a culture, and the culture was first name basis. That was everybody. But he found that like the women, it was many years after he realized that you don't dare call the female orgas their names. Yeah. Everybody will call the female orgas Mrs. or M.A. G, but they found it easy to call the men Balaji, Efola, but it was difficult for them to find it, to call the women with first because of our culture. So even though he was trying to instill this modern, foreign, Western way of where you just first name, the people refused. I didn't even realize until many years later that all the women are being called by either than Mrs. somebody. Titles. So how do we, going back to her question of mixing that culture, where do we find the middle ground?
Culture is very, very powerful. And the only way to deal with culture is to create a higher culture. Because you cannot eliminate culture. Culture is very, very important. But when you realize that this culture is not the right culture, then we create another culture that is superior to the culture that is existing. So for instance, when you come into a business place, they have what they call professionalism. Now the culture of professionalism now supersedes, am I your mate? Who do you think you are? You can't talk to me like that, because you now know that, look, we're in a professional environment. We are not in our village meeting. We are not in our family meeting. We are in a professional environment. So that's what happens. So when it comes to the issue of culture as regards to our upbringing, elder cannot be wrong. It's the fact that we think, as we should, that elders should be wiser. Elders should be more intelligent because of experience, but that has not been the truth. And we have come to realize that, if you permit me to go into the Bible here, when Job had a problem with his friends, they were all elderly that came to him. And one of them was Elimas or whatever. And the guy sat there, he didn't say anything. All the elders were talking. So the guy kept quiet. Then at the point he said, come. He said, I've kept quiet since, because I'm the youngest. Because I thought that gray hair equals to wisdom. He said, but now I've come to realize that there is a spirit in man. And the inspiration of the Lord gives them understanding. So you might think that people are elderly and they should be wise, but they may not be. But the attitude with which, that's why the Bible says, rebuke not an elder. You see, the fact that what you are saying is true does not mean you should say it anyhow. You speak the truth in love. So sometimes it is not what is being said, it is the way it is being said.
Okay, so let's talk about the neutral party. So in this case in question again, the chairman of the committee on ethics just kept with the Gaveton carpenter, throughout these records that happened. You kept hearing bang, 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 but at what point do you allow it play out? How do you even sit at where two people are already fighting and you are supposed to be the neutral party? Shoma Lugi at the end of the fight, or you would let it play out? Because there was another young man who was provoking the senator, one boy, and he was, the more he touched that one, the more that one, and you will see the former minister of education.
Did you guys watch this video? I don't see all these things.
I don't know what you are watching. He was together.
It was live.
She was talking, but under control to that stuff.
I take exception to that.
She was trying to get
this is not market
chairman to take over to control the room. He was sitting as chairman. He allowed the senator.
They kept calling chairman.
We have to pack this.
So please, I know they won't touch the neutral party.
You see, unfortunately, when you think someone is neutral, they may not be. A neutral party is supposed to bring peace.
Yeah.
But when someone is not neutral, it will be difficult for them to bring peace because they already have a place they are supposed to slant into. And if they realize that it is not wise for me to slant here because it will be obvious that I'm compromised, the best thing to do is to just stay aloof and operate the way they are done.
Okay, so let me go on a very short break because now we're going to pack this story because it's still International Women's Month and it's important that we touch on all the areas. So when we come back, we discuss about women and finance, how we build wealth.
Why you don't let me talk again? That's what I will do for you.
Don't make noise on this.
Okay, this is a brand new set. Brand new set.
Okay, this one will make
Please.
noise.
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.